6.5. They're asking if the burden of the royalty interest is proportionately shared by the current mineral interest owners. So, this guy, third parties, they have 3.5% NPRI. Convey it to a current mineral interest owner, which I don't think, who has, I think, so there's no mention of the NPRIs, no exception. So this guy essentially gets all the minerals, but then he conveys to other people, and they have 5/3/20. This person does. This person has 35/3/20, and this guy has 280/3/20.
Where did the third guy come from?
This guy or this guy or that guy?
Oh, that's for W?
Yeah, this is W. Okay. So, fractional interest owners.
You know what he did when he explained this?
Yeah.
He changed those. I think those reduced down to 1/8 and 1/16.
So this is 1/8,
That's 1/8.
and this is 1/16.
Yeah, and then that leaves W with
Yeah.
14/16.
So this is 14/16. Okay, so 1/16. So that's 1/8, 1/16. So 15/16. So there's what's missing? 1/16 basically, right? So this NPRI. So these guys want their proportionate share to be times 6.5, right? Because in total, these guys have 40/3/20, right? And then, how would we reduce that? What is that? Is that no, it is 1/8. Okay, so this 1/8. So they have 1/8 in total. Wait a minute. I thought 35 is 1/8, right? No. This isn't 1/8. Okay. This all okay. So 35. Okay, 1/8. Okay, so and then times. Oh, jeez. Times 6.5. Because they want their share out of the 6. They want their proportionate share times 6.5, right? What would that be? 6.5.
Well, bottom line is, the court said this should come out of
Right. So it should be 280/3/20 times 6.5.
No, it's it's 7/8. It's their portion of ownership, which is 7/8.
So 7/8.
Times 1/8, which is the royalty, minus 6.5%.
Oh my gosh.
What does that give you?
Negative number. Yeah, Yeah, minus 6.5%.
Oh, yes.
6.5%, yeah.
Okay.
So 0.065.
Okay.
So that's
you take as much as W has until you get to the negative number, and then you would take the rest from the working interest owner, which is
so basically the bottom line is it comes out of W's interest.
comes out of W yeah, as much as possible.
So it would be 320 times 6.5. It would be this number times 6.5, right? 6.5%, that is.
No.
Because that's what we were doing over here.
I know, but W, you're trying to figure his landowner royalty.
Right.
Because he's the landowner, right?
Yeah.
And that's 7/8 times 1/8 times minus 6.5. That gives you the negative number. So you have to figure out, what does the negative number come out to?
Well, the negative number was because I was doing 6.5, not 0.65.
So what does it come out
Or
to?
0.065.
If you do it right. 0.065.
0.044375.
Yeah, I saw D1 spelled out W right. They haven't updated. They finished it in the forward. Yeah, I said that. When I got home this morning, she was all right.
So the rule is it comes from the landowner's royalty, basically. We calculate out of W.
Yeah.
I'd written down here that W had a breach of warranty deed against the original owner.
He has breached his warranty.
Yeah. This guy over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Well, he had really breached his warranty. I thought he breached his warranty in case of why. Because he didn't list the exception for the 6.5%.
oh, and maybe that's another breach of warranty. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, we would calculate it out of W's, right?
Yeah, unless he doesn't have enough.
Well, then there's a breach of warranty suit.
Well, no, then you take it from X and Y.
Oh, okay. If you're the third parties.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if
Oh,
the
so
guy
this is.
still doesn't have enough, whoever they all lease to,
Yeah.
take it from them, the working interest.
So the Duhigg, this is kind of Duhigg, assuming W doesn't have enough, you take it out of the next guys. That'll be on the test. Yeah. All right. You want to do Texas Co versus Parks? What do you like better, chalk or this marker stuff? Well, I mean, I'm sure there are places where you don't, but I'll tell you what, I don't like either one. There should be a digital board, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So they already got one of the screens out there went to the log off screen.
Oh.
One of them, but press control on delete the log off.
Oh yeah, we're already having technical difficulties, right?
If they have problems with Windows 2, they gotta take all them boards off.
I bet it's normal. I bet they, yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah.
All right, what's the deal here?
All right, Texas Co. So the E2 is 208. Oh, I remember this problem. Okay, so they grant it to, so the original grantors are Parks and his wife, I guess. So they grant a 1/2 interest in the 320 acres. The rental is $80. And rental, yeah, okay. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so the rental is $80. Okay, so it's 160.
Yeah.
Oh, right. 160 for the lease.
Right.
They want it proportionate reduction to $80 because they want half of what has already been given. But the thing was, normally you pay $1 per acre, so it had already been reduced to half, and they wanted a half. So they basically wanted it like reduced twice. So they have 100% interest in half. They're supposed to pay $1 per acre, so that would be 320. But then you can get it divided by 2, proportionate reduction, divided by half. Then they wanted another reduction to 80, and the court didn't grant them that.
I think the rule that comes out of this is that the proportionate reduction clause only applies if you own less than you purported to convey. So, if Parks had said, I'm going to convey the entire interest in the 320 for $160 an acre to labor, and then they found out later that they only own half, then you would reduce. But since they purported to convey exactly what they own,
So when you convey more,
when you own less than you convey, then you purport to convey.
So, proportionate reduction clause comes into play when you own less than what you convey, than you purport to convey, which is minus the lease payments in half, as a proportionate reduction clause.
Yeah, whatever payments are due to you are proportionate to what you actually own.
So, okay, and this would come into a Duhigg problem. Well, I mean,
I don't think this has anything to do with it.
I mean, if you convey more than what you have, right?
I guess technically, but you don't need to do the
Analysis, yeah.
analysis. There's no breach of warranty here. I guess there would be if you purported to convey the entire thing.
You want to go to Hoffman v. Magnolia?
All right.
Okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, because I feel that that last class was tough, so it's good to review this stuff.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Do you think what we do on the last class will be on the test?
Yeah, it's
Okay. So we got a 320 acre piece of land. Alright. Alrighty then.
Go ahead.
Alrighty.
I got some good questions. We can do it in a minute.
Oh, really? 320 acres. 1/8 lease royalty. So the first grant, they divided the land though up into. Okay, so they sell this 90 acres right here, and
This is the dual grant.
yeah, so they reserve a 1/8,
This is the one.
1/2 interest in this 90 acres.
Okay, so start over with the facts.
It's a 380 tract, 90 acres with a 1/2 interest.
Okay, that's all in one grant, right? Or one.
Yeah, that's one grant. Okay, so that's Yeah, yeah. No, okay, oh, darn. Okay, I think, is the 90 acres with the 1/2, or,
I'm just gonna read the fact.
yeah.
Alright. The lease was in ordinary form from Harvey.
For 320 acres,
Unless he covered and conveyed the oil and gas under 320 acres out of a section of land in connection provided for a 1/8 royalty on all oil and rentals of $330 every 6 months.
right.
Uh,
Deed said 1/2 interest in Owen Gas Company.
The deed to plaintiff is averred to have passed from lessors, Duke, and wife before the completion of any well on the half section, in consideration of $10,000 bid sum. So, it looks like there were two, it looks like D, looks like there was a conveyance of the 320 acres, of a lease on the 320 acres.
Right.
And then there was later a deed to the plaintiff of the entire 320 acres.
So D to H? 'Cause that was, the plaintiff was Harvey, right? Or,
Yeah, but it wasn't the defendant. It was Duke.
oh, well, D.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
The annual leasing grant. Okay, so the deed said a 1/2 interest in and to all
Couple
oil and gas
royalties.
in and under
under the lease.
that may be produced from the following described lands.
That's the second grant, right?
This is the deed. So you
Yeah,
have the
this
lease and then the deed.
Right, so
The
this
deed-
is the lease over here. The lease with the 1/2 royalty. This is the deed.
No, the lease covered the entire 320 acres.
Oh, okay. So
The deed can pay the 90 acres.
okay. Okay. Alrighty.
And it conveyed a 1/2 interest in the minerals.
Alrighty, 1/2.
The instrument continues. Said above described lands being now under an oil and gas lease, originally executed in favor of R.O. Harvey, now held by blank. It is understood and agreed that this sale is made subject to said lease, but covers and includes 1/2 of all the oil royalty and gas rental or royalty due to be paid under the terms of said lease. Plaintiff contends that the conveyance to him of 1/2 of all the oil royalty due to be paid under the terms of said lease is not confined to wells upon the smaller tract. The defendants reply that since the smaller tract is the subject matter of the deed, the quoted language should be construed as having reference to it alone. So, H claims that he should get 1/2 of the royalties on the whole tract.
Right, okay.
And whoever this is claims that it should only be the royalties to his 90 acres that he got the mineral interest for.
Right.
The deed in the first part conveys an undivided 1/2 interest in the possibility of reverter of the oil in
Right.
place under the 90 acres.
Possibility of the deed has that?
Yeah. The 1/2 interest in the oil under that particular tract is conveyed to Hoffman. In the last part of this instrument is provided that if the lease shall be forfeited and canceled, the grantor and grantee shall share equally in all mineral interests and rights in said land, that is the 90 acres, gas and other minerals. Those passages ever known, but they are not the sole subject matter of the conveyance. There follow other words regarding not the reverter, but rents and royalties prior to the time the lease terminates and while it is still in force, both before any well at all is drilled and after the drilling is done. It is understood and agreed that this sale is made subject to said lease, but covers and includes 1/2 of all the oil royalty and gas rental or royalty to be paid under the terms of said lease. It is agreed and understood that 1/2 of the money, okay, this is plainly a statement that the deed conveys a 1/2 interest in the royalties to accrue under the terms of the lease as an entirety, that is, the lease upon the whole half section, so the whole 320 acres.
Right.
Instead of restricting these royalties to wells on the 90 acres, the conveyance covers 1/2 of all the oil royalty under the terms of the lease. But this passage refers to an interest in the whole instead of a part of the royalty, irrespective of where the well shall be located, is corroborated by the provisions for 1/2 of delay rentals. Court of Civil Appeals correctly decided under this lease, the subdivision of land would not affect the rights of it. As to the lessee, the lease remained an entirety, as did his duty to pay rents and royalties. The deed said that 90 acres was subject to the lease. It was, but a conveyance of a part of the land did not subdivide the lease and turn it into 2 leases. Okay. Okay. I think I got that. So that's why it's a dual grant. It granted him the minerals in this 90 acres.
Okay.
But it also granted him a royalty in the entire 320 acres. Or granted him half the minerals
Oh, in the entire.
in the entire 300.
So the lease kind of suffers.
Yeah. Yeah, the lessee has to pay a lot more than he wanted
To this guy, to H.
yeah.
So he has to account for the 1/2 that the original owner had. So, sorry, there's a lot of dust in here. Has to account to the original owner for 90. No, for the entire for the entire 1/2 interest, and then also has to. Well, no. The lease owner has to account to the.
So H gets, really, I think H and the lessor, well, the lessor is going to get his 1/8 of 1/2, or 1/2 of 1/8. And then H is also going to get 1/2 of 1/8. Minus, I think it's almost like H has an NPRI.
Do you know if this was in the supplement?
I don't know.
I don't think it was. Kind of skips it, goes from Duhigg to non-apportionment. I know that non-apportionment case really well.
Which one is that?
That's the Jaffet, but that's a little later. This is a dual grant. Yeah, it's not the index. What is there another name I might look it under?
2 grant period.
Oh boy.
No.
No, I don't see it. It's alright. Maybe you think it would be under deed somewhere? Fix it. Oh boy. Do you want to slow down on the finishing up the cases, or?
Is that what you need to do?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how this Hoffman v. Magnolia thing comes out. Oh boy. So, After executing oil and gas lease on his land, the landowner conveys part of the land by deed, also granting a right to a portion of the royalties under the lease. The deed is construed as granting a portion of the royalties as to the entire leasehold just on the portion of the land conveyed. So, just on this land.
I don't think that's right. Read that again.
Right here. After executing oil and gas lease on his land, the landowner conveys part of the land by deed, also granting a right to a portion of the royalties due under the lease. The deed is construed as granting a portion of the royalties as to the entire leasehold, just on the portion of it.
I think that should be not just on the portion of the land. It's the way I understood it. Like he gets a portion of the royalty for the entire 320, not just his 90. Did we even go over the Jaffa case?
Yeah. Court held that the way the conveyance was listed was granted two different things. One half in the 90 acres and one half in interest in all payments under the existing lease. Is that right? One half in the 90 interest. Oh wow, so you get one half of this and one half of everything.
You get one half of everything.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
But you can also, because he also got half the mineral interest in the 90s. So if he wanted to lease himself half the mineral just here, he could do that.
Okay. Alrighty.
It's kind of messed up for the oil and gas company.
Do you want to do Concord v. Pennzoil? Or, oh, this one was crazy. Make sure fractions and conveyances are consistent. Any inconsistencies must be harmonized. Oh, this is, I think, the thing where he was talking about, like, you know, he was telling the person who was reading the case, he said, you and I know this isn't really what they meant, but this is what the court is giving us. So, I think this was just a matter of interpretation.
This was, the court said, Crosby said estate, not estates. So you made a single grant, so you made a single grant, not two. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But so that was the court interpreting it, though, right?
Right.
I don't think that'll really be on the test. So it was A has 1/12 mineral interest, conveys to Crosby, and has a 196 mineral interest subject to 1/12 of rentals and royalties. Crosby conveys to Concord, and then there's suit. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think this will, because it's all these interests that are kind of.
All right, let's do the Jaffa one.
You want to do Japhet? So sum up of Concord v. Pennzoil is the court will harmonize inconsistent conveyances. All right, Japhet v. McRae, you have this original tract that is 10 plus 15 acres, and then it's divided to 3 and 10. This guy is M, this guy is K, and this is Japhet. So M and K want royalties because there's an oil rig produced over here. So M has two out of 15. So they all have 2 out of 15. And he wants his 1/15th, right? Right? And then K has 3/15ths, and he wants his 1/5, because that's the least negotiated, right?
It's actually 2/15. Yeah, that's right.
And then Japhet has 10/15ths times 1/8.
Where did you get the 2/5 times 1/8 and 3/15 times? I mean, 2/15 times 1/15. What is that?
So this is his, how much land he has.
But what is times 1/15?
Isn't that the part of the lease?
I think the royalty is 1/8. So they're all asking for their portion of the 1/8 royalty.
Right.
So it'd be 2/15 times.
But they wanted 5/15ths.
I know. They together have 5/15.
Right.
They wanted their portion of the royalty. Their 2/15 of the royalty and their 3/15 of the royalty.
Yeah. So this is really 1/5.
No. It's 1/8.
And this is 1/8. Oh, okay. So they want their fair stuff,
Right.
but they don't get it because Japhet, the non-apportionment, is. So were they all pooling, or was this a lease?
No, it doesn't have to do with pooling. I remember somebody asked that. The problem was because they didn't get, it was leased before it was subdivided.
Oh, right. So this was all leased before it was subdivided, and then it was subdivided.
Then it was subdivided, and then they got production. So since they got production after it was subdivided, they don't share in the royalty. If they got production pre-subdivision, then they would have shared in the royalty. Now, where the non-apportionment doctrine doesn't apply is if there's an entirities clause. If the leased
Right.
land, and an entirities clause says if the leased land hereafter owned in severalty, if the leased land is hereafter owned in severalty, the land shall be operated as one tract and paid to subdivided owners proportionately.
Okay, so the non-apportionment clause doesn't apply
Well,
if
not a
there's.
clause. The entirities clause trumps
Yeah,
the non-apportionment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So non-apportionment doctrine is, if they drill here and this was previously all together, this guy gets the money.
If production comes after subdivision.
If production comes after subdivision. So the way this might come up on a test is O owns 15 acres at one point, leases its oil and gas company, but before production, he breaks it up into these three parts.
Right.
Later production starts, only this guy gets it because of the non-apportionment, unless there was an entireties clause in all their.
Unless there was an entireties clause in this lease.
In this lease.
Is that when in the entireties clause would
It
have
doesn't
taken
need to be
place-
in this
so
lease,
let's do
right?
this. Let's do this. Let's say in 2000.
Right.
What is that? J.
Yeah, Jay.
J. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in 2002.
So does he get 1/8 entirely, not 10/15ths times 1/8?
Well, he does now because he hasn't subdivided yet.
Okay.
He would
Okay,
get the
okay.
entire 1/8. Now in ABC in 2002, production. In '03, J to K, 3 acres. And then in '04, J to M. Now in this situation, since the subdivision came post-production, they would all share.
Right.
But if production had happened in '05, then Jay would get all of it. Unless there's an entirety clause
In his lease.
in that lease.
Doesn't matter about these guys' leases.
They don't have leases.
They're
mineral interest owners.
yeah, they're mineral interest. Okay. Alrighty, I guess that sums up last class.
Yeah, where's mine? I'm going to ask him about a couple of those.
Yeah.
All right.
I wish we could have moved it back, but
Let's do some of these questions.
I think I'm gonna. Alrighty, let's do it. I'm gonna sit down over here.